Hey, Battle Built here with another video, and today we're getting into some more Master League Premier Cup Go Battle League battles. Alright, the first thing on the agenda is to cover Pokemon that have had slight adjustments or improvements going into Season 3 Premier Cup Master League battles. One of them being Mamoswine. Yes, I know it's been covered by other YouTubers, but I do believe that the more videos we can put out on specific Pokemon, especially if you're doing different team comps, the more information the community can have to make the adjustments they feel is fit. And the team that I'm going to be bringing to the table is actually thanks to PvP. So hopefully I can throw a little infographic up on screen over there from pointing the right way. PvP, if you don't follow them on Twitter, I highly recommend it. They posted a nice little infographic covering different high rated teams that you could use going into Master League Premier Cup battles this season, and one of them looked extremely familiar to me. It was a core of Garchomp and Metagross, similar to my last video, but instead of Snorlax, I had Mamoswine running there. So that is how I'm going to be testing Mamoswine today. I'm going to essentially be using it as a safe swap in certain situations where Garchomp is not winning lead, which would primarily be against Dragonite or Togekiss, and Mamoswine with the update has positive matchups against both of those Pokemon. So let's see how I ended up doing with Mamoswine, and let's see if this improvement makes it even more usable this season around for Go Battle League battles. Now if you don't mind also, before we jump in, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, let's get into the set. Alright, so getting into the battles, I already kind of gave away a team comp. It's a Garchomp lead running Mudshot, Outrage, and Sandtomb. Safe swap of Mamoswine running Quick Move of Powder Snow with Avalanche and Bulldoze for potential Metagrosses. And then my best buddy Metagross in the back with a Quick Move of Bullet Punch, Meteor Mash, and Earthquake. So we got a positive lead here. We have a Garchomp on Swampert lead. I've played this lead a bunch, and the Swamperts don't like to shield. I don't really blame them, because one way of taking out a potential Swampert would be to Sandtomb at first and then throw the Outrage, but I'm totally cool with you not shielding the first charge move, me landing the Outrage and putting the Swampert just so low that it's practically not usable at that point. So land the Outrage there, get it into the red, which is great. They can get to essentially one more Hydro Cannon before I get to my next Sandtomb. If I want to farm down, they'll get to two of them, but they would cost me a shield. So I decide to go straight for the Sandtomb. This will take out the remaining health of the Swampert and allow me to win lead. They decide to shield it though, and I actually don't mind that at all, because they can get to another Hydro Cannon here, but their Swampert's so low, my Garchomp's just going to leave this situation with energy advantage, and we're both still at equal shields. So I was going to commit to winning that lead no matter what. So now they match me with Dragonite. I tried to get to the Sandtomb, unfortunately didn't have enough energy, but here's Mamoswine's. I was going to say Mamo time. Mamoswine's time to shine. So Mamoswine's coming in. I'm going for an Avalanche. This would one-shot the Dragonite, so it's going to most likely get their last shield. It did. Now the issue is they're clearly overcharging, so even though they're going for a move here, this is almost definitely a Dragon Claw, I have no intentions of shielding. I'm going to let it go through. I'll survive, and I'll swap into Metagross. Now that is one downside of Mamoswine. That Dragon Claw was neutral damage, and it did a lot to Mamoswine because of how glassy it is. But I placed myself in a very good position by getting that shield. Because Mamoswine's so glassy, it's very spammy. And because I got that shield when I swapped in Metagross, it had an advantage against my opponent's Magnezone. I can go for this Earthquake, one-shot the Magnezone. It did absolutely nothing to me while it was there, and I can commit to a Bullet Punch down and essentially win this match and still be up a shield. They could have threw the charge move. I would have just shielded it. GG, match number 1. Mamoswine, its spamminess definitely helped there a lot. Now, speaking about Mamoswine's spamminess, this next match, you'll really see it go off. So we got a Garchomp on a Rhyperior lead. So his first two matches, I've won both leads. The next three, you'll see what happens when I end up losing lead. But I have a nice one here. They swap into Snorlax, and I swap into Mamoswine as my save swap. And I just want to spam as many Avalanches as I possibly can. So I get to one here. They haven't thrown a charge move. They're most likely overcharging because Mamoswine would take super effective damage from potential superpower from Snorlax. If they're running it, they definitely want to make sure they have an abundance of energy before throwing. So they go for the first charge move. I'm worried about a super effective superpower, so I shield. Ends up being the bait, but because I'm so close to another charge move, we see in P-tie there, and I'm going to commit my second shield here. Now you might be thinking that's a bit of a mistake, but they go for the superpower. I survive, so I decide to over farm now. I'm going for this Avalanche. This will either take out the Snorlax's remaining health, or get their first shields. It takes out the remaining health, and then they're going to come back in with, I'm pretty sure, yep, their Rhyperior, and all this ice damage I'm dealing is super effective, and the Rhyperior has to watch out for those avalanches. So the first avalanche is going to come through here, it gets a shield, and because of how spammy it is, we get a little bit of lag there, but I'm able to still outpace it and get to another avalanche, which will either take out the Rhyperior or get my opponent's last shield. You'll also notice Rhyperior was running Smackdown, which was super effective on my Mamoswine, but they save the shield, they bring in Dragonite, I bring in my Metagross, and I'm feeling pretty okay here. The Dragonite cannot one-shot my Metagross. As long as I just don't get farmed down, my Metagross can get the Dragonite shield, and my Garchomp can come in and throw an Outrage to win this match. But what you'll notice here is Metagross is actually going to be plenty in dealing with this Dragonite. They're going to go for their big charge move here. This is most likely a Hurricane. Yeah, it ends up being a Hurricane. I survive it, not in farm range. A Dragon Claw could take me out, but I outpace him to the next move, and Metagross is now going to take out the Dragonite. So again, Mamoswine spamminess really came in clutch getting those shields, so Metagross could finish in endgame. Garchomp really didn't even do anything that match. Alright, so those first two matches were nice. I had one lead. We're going to see what happens here where I lose lead. I have a Garchomp on Togekiss situation here, and I'm going to use Mamoswine as a safe swap. So Garchomp has no play against Togekiss, immediately swapped into the Mamoswine, and I make a slight mistake here. They took a little while to swap. I should have chucked that Avalanche right away, because an Avalanche would one-shot at Togekiss, and it would have threatened that first shield without a doubt. But I'm still able to throw the Avalanche at the Snorlax, and I do get the shield anyway, so I guess it kind of works itself out. They essentially beat me to the next charge move. This is definitely a body slam because the Snorlax just came in. I know Mamoswine can survive it. It does a good chunk. It was a Shadow Snorlax, so that 20% extra damage. But I am able to get to another Avalanche here. And the reason why I let that body slam go through is because I know that I'm not going to win switch advantage back, so I might as well at least get shield advantage here. So I'm going to bring in my Garchomp to deal with the Snorlax, and the way I want to play this out is I want to make sure my Garchomp doesn't have a lot of health after this, because Garchomp's just going to get slaughtered by the Togekiss. Garchomp essentially can't do anything in this situation, so please go and throw that Outrage, get me nice and low. I'm going to go for my Sand Tomb here. This won't take out the Snorlax, but it'll lower its defense and get it low enough where I should be able to Mud Shot it down, and when the Togekiss comes in, I can at least throw a Sand Tomb at it and lower its defense so that when it charms me down, at least Metagross can have a more positive matchup there and try and farm down the Togekiss. So they charm me down, Metagross is going to come back in, they make the smart decision to swap out immediately, and they swap into a Swampert. So this is not a positive situation, but having that shield advantage gives me some potential play here. I need to land this bait in order to potentially win this. I get their shield. The Swampert's now going to be able to spam me, throw a bunch of Hydro Cannons, so I'm going to have to shield at least two. I'm going to have to use both of my shields here. I don't have a choice but to use both of my shields, because I'm not going to be able to get to the Earthquake before they start getting off about 3 Hydro Cannons in total. So I shield 2 of them, and I'm just about to get to the Earthquake. They get to another Hydro Cannon, but this should be the remainder of their energy, so the way I try and play this is I want to overfarm enough, but I don't want to get greedy in case they just get to another Hydro Cannon. But what we're going to learn is I should have went for one more Bullet Punch, and unfortunately I didn't because I was worried about that Hydro Cannon coming through, because it would have taken out my Swampert. Because I'm just about to get to the Meteor Mash, and the Togekiss just barely beats me to the charge move, and this is going to only be an ancient power, and they're going to win the match. But I almost played out of that poor lead, and a poor swap in, and a poor back Pokemon in the back, because Mamoswine was able to get those shields before. So, I'm liking Mamoswine as a safe swap. Even though the update was specifically to the amount of damage Powder Snow does, it already had great energy generation, so the fact that it can now kind of chunk away at its opponents when it's dealing super effective damage is definitely a welcomed positive. Now, getting into this next match, lost lead to Togekiss again, save swap in the Mamoswine. My opponent decides they want to commit and stay in with this Togekiss matchup, which I don't completely mind. My Powder Snows are doing good damage. These Avalanches will threaten both of Togekiss's shields, and as much as these charms are hurting my Mamoswine, they can go for a charge move here, I can shield it, I can get to another Avalanche and threaten that second shield that they want to commit. So they end up getting the boost, which I'm okay with because this Avalanche would still take out their Togekiss's remaining health. Let's see what they decide to do. They decide to shield that also, so I'm like, okay, by all means, charm me down. And what I should have done was I should have waited. I should have waited out my switch timer. I bring in Metagross immediately. They swapped out their Togekiss. I was kind of expecting them to keep in Togekiss just because they had the boost, and maybe they want to commit to it, which is why I wasn't thinking, you know, let's wait a second before bringing in Metagross. But now I go into my Garchomp because I already know Garchomp is going to be completely useless against the Togekiss. And because of the fact that they swapped, they can go for this Outrage here, no problem. Give their Togekiss less energy to farm, and I can now overfarm a little bit, take out their Snorlax, try and Sand Tomb their Togekiss, and hopefully use my Metagross to farm down their Togekiss and deal with their last Pokemon. So let's see what they end up doing. Togekiss should be coming back in here. They're trying to kill out their switch timer though because they know my Metagross is in the back for their Togekiss, and I'm able to get to one more Sand Tomb just before the Togekiss is going to charm me down. And now I just need to hope their switch timer isn't up so that when I get charmed down, I can bring in my Metagross to try and finish off this Togekiss. But their switch timer is up. They bring in an Excadrill, and this would typically be a bad situation for my Metagross, but because I had a little bit of a head start in energy before, I'm able to get to this Earthquake. This will one-shot the Excadrill because, again, Mamoswine be getting shields. And when the Togekiss comes in, they decide to give up because they know they're not going to be able to charm me down before I bullet punch them down. So we've clinched a positive set with Mamoswine. I will, without a doubt, take it no matter how this 5th match of the set goes. And we're going to end up with a Garchomp on another Togekiss lead. So you already know the plan. Safe swapping the Mamoswine. Let's see what they counter us with. They leave in their Togekiss a little bit longer, and I'm able to get to an Avalanche so I can at least threaten the shields. So again, the update wasn't to energy generation, it was to the damage. But Mamoswine really threatened shields well. They bring in Swampert, and honestly, they should have just immediately swapped into Swampert because it would have helped them kind of keep shields equal and still keep switch advantage, but that was their choice. I guess people might not be too used to seeing Mamoswine, but again, I feel like you gotta know that Mamoswine's a ground type, so Swampert, boom, takes care of it easy. They go for the Hydro Cannon. I'm not shielding. I will take shield advantage here. I will bring in my Garchomp to absorb all of the Swampert's energy because, again, Garchomp is not going to have any play against that Togekiss. I'm just going to hope to over-farm here, probably completely farm down because I can survive another Hydro Cannon, and I should be able to Mud-Shot it down before they get to another one, and then just spam the Togekiss with as many Sand Tombs as I possibly can. So that's going to be the play. Got a bunch of energy there. Gonna go for this first Sand Tomb here. I was kind of hoping that I could get the Sand Tomb off and then the Outrage, as much as it would have been resisted. With the nerf damage, it could have maybe done a little bit, but unfortunately didn't have enough energy, didn't want to take another charm, so I go for 2 Sand Tombs in a row. And then they're going to actually swap into Rhyperior, and this is GG. Typically, giving my Metagross a nice shield advantage would win me the match, but in this case, when your last Pokemon's a Mud Slapper, I don't have a chance there. And honestly, if you look at their team, it's actually kind of like a Master League version of my Double Mud Boys, with the Flyer, Togekiss in the front, and then Swampert, and Rhyperior's not a Mud Boy. I'm not saying it's a Mud Boy, but it's dealing Mud Slaps. So in that sense, definitely gives my team a hard time when I have Metagross waiting in the back, hoping to take advantage of the shield advantage, and I was not able to. So GG there, 3-2. Metagross with shield advantage would have beaten a lot of other things, but unfortunately it was a Rhyperior. Mamoswine though did a good job again getting shields. So if this set has shown anything, maybe you've already known that Mamoswine is spammy, but the Powder Stone is dealing a little bit of extra damage. Now helps give it more play while still keeping that same spamminess. Also, I completely forgot to mention this in the beginning of the video, and there's probably less of you around here now, but it's better to at least say it than not say it at all. I wanted to make sure I gave PV Poke the shout out in the beginning. That was important for the help on the team comp. But also, if you want to catch me using different Pokemon or just want to see more of my battles, I've been streaming pretty consistently on Twitch. I will be at least for the next couple weeks until September comes around because I'm a teacher and that's when school starts, so I don't know what my schedule will be then. But right now, I've been streaming pretty much every day, doing all my sets there, and then saving one set specifically for YouTube, so I can try and diversify the content for you guys. Or not really diversify, but at least, you know, like, not show you stuff on Twitch and then re-show it to you on YouTube is what I mean. So at least try to give you different sets for you to watch the battles. But again, anyhow, I'm on a tangent. If you'd like to see me do the rest of my sets, please, no, it's that way. My Twitch handle is literally the same as my Twitter handle, BattleBillPogo. If you don't mind stopping by, giving me a follow, it would be extremely appreciated. And I've been kind of copying off the JFarm format because I think they do an amazing job with their Twitch and their YouTube. And they have a little bit goal to use, they have a little bit goal to use Spice Pokemon, so right now I have a little one set up to use regular Darmanitan and some Master Premier action, so if you want to see that happening, by all means give me a follow there, it would be extremely appreciated. Other than that, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what other Spice Pokemon you want to see. I'm probably going to be testing Aquatail Gyarados soon. I know other people have been doing it. The more information on it though, the better. I'll see you guys in the next video.